Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to The View. Today's guest is the one and only Jane Fonda, activist, actress, fitness icon, and someone who has never been afraid to speak her mind. The crowd is already on their feet as Jane walks out in a sharp red blazer, waving and smiling that famous smile. But you can feel the electricity in the room because everyone knows Jane and Joy Behar have gone at it before over politics, climate change, and everything in between. Whoopi opens with the usual warm welcome. Sunny asks about the latest Fire Drill Friday's protest. Alyssa says something about bipartisanship, and then Joy leans forward with that little smirk she gets when she's about to drop a bomb. She says, "Jane, honey, you've been arresting yourself every week for years now, but the planet is still on fire and the Democrats just lost the House again. So at what point do we admit the handcuff photo ops aren't moving the needle?" The audience gasps. Jane's smile freezes for half a second, and the whole studio goes dead quiet. Jane adjusts her microphone, looks Joy straight in the eye and fires back. "Joy, I love you, but maybe if certain people on this very stage use their massive platform to call out corporate Democrats who take oil money instead of just scolding the activists in the streets, we'd actually get somewhere." The crowd erupts, half cheering, half stunned, and Whoopi is already trying to cut to commercial, but Jane is just getting started. Joy doesn't back down. Of course she doesn't. "This is Joy Behar we're talking about." She throws her hands up and says, "Oh, here we go with the purity test again. I marched in the 60s too, Jane. I got tear-gassed outside the Pentagon. Don't lecture me about selling out because I think we have to win elections before we save the planet." Jane laughs, but it's that sharp laugh that says she's furious, and she responds, "Winning elections with candidates who won't even say the words a Green New Deal out loud, that's not winning, Joy. That's rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic while the billionaires buy bigger lifeboats." Sunny tries to jump in with some statistics about youth voter turnout, but nobody's listening anymore because Jane and Joy are locked in like it's 1972 and they're debating Vietnam all over again. Alyssa looks like she wants to disappear under the table. Sarah is pretending to take very important notes, and Whoopi is mouthing "we'll be right back" while the control room is screaming in her earpiece. The audience is eating it up, though. People are standing. Some are yelling "Tell her, Jane." Others are yelling "Speak for us, Joy." And security starts moving toward the aisles just in case. When they come back from break, the tension is thicker than New York smog in August. Whoopi tries the old "let's take a breath" move, but Jane is already leaning forward again. She says, "Joy, you keep saying we have to be realistic, but maybe the problem is we've been realistic for 50 years and the ice caps are still melting." Joy shoots back, "And your answer is to scream at people until they vote for the other guy? Brilliant strategy, Jane. Really?" That's when Jane drops the line that breaks the internet. "I'm sorry, Joy, but some of us don't have the luxury of sitting comfortably on a hit TV show while the world burns. Some of us actually have to put our bodies on the line." The audience loses it completely. Joy's face goes red. She slams her card on the table and says, "You did not just come on my show and call me comfortable after everything via." And Whoopi literally stands up and says, "Okay, that's it, we're taking another break, everybody calm down." But the mics are still hot and you can hear Joy mutter "unbelievable" while Jane just stares straight ahead like she's ready to get arrested right there on the set. They never actually come back from that second break with Jane still at the table. Instead, Whoopi comes out alone looking like she just aged 10 years and says, "Folks, unfortunately Jane Fonda has decided to leave the building. She felt the conversation had gone in a direction that wasn't productive, and we respect that." The audience boos loudly. Someone in the back yells "Bring her back." And Twitter is already exploding with clips of the fight racking up millions of views in minutes. Joy stays off camera for the rest of the show, which has never happened in 28 seasons. And when they finally go to the next segment, Sunny is visibly shaking while trying to talk about Thanksgiving recipes. By the time the credits roll, Jane Fonda kicked off The View is the #1 worldwide trend. TMZ has blurry footage of Jane getting into a black SUV outside the studio giving the finger to paparazzi, and conservative outlets are running the clip on loop with headlines about liberal cannibals eating their own. The fallout lasts for weeks. Jane goes on CNN that same night and says she has no regrets, that sometimes you have to disrupt the comfort of liberals who think scolding Trump voters is a personality. Joy releases a statement through ABC saying she was blindsided and hurt by Jane's personal attack after decades of friendship, but refuses to go on any other show to talk about it, which only fuels the fire. The View's ratings skyrocket, their highest in 7 years, and producers quietly admit off-record that they're thrilled even while publicly apologizing to both women. Meghan McCain tweets, "Finally someone said it from the sidelines." Hawk posts a fire emoji under Jane's interview clip, and Whoopi spends the next month opening every episode with "We're family here, sometimes families fight, let's move on, but nobody moves on." Clips of Joy saying purity test and Jane saying comfortable liberals become instant memes. TikTok kids are stitching them into breakup videos. "And you did not just come on my show" t-shirts start selling out on Etsy. 6 months later the whole thing is still legend. Jane and Joy reportedly haven't spoken since, although someone swears they were seen hugging at a fundraiser in the Hamptons, but nobody can confirm. The View brings on younger, more radical guests who keep referencing the incident like it's Watergate, and Joy's introductions now come with a slightly sharper edge whenever climate change comes up. Jane keeps getting arrested every Friday, only now the signs sometimes say, "Joy, are you comfortable yet?" And the crowds chant it back at her. The fight becomes shorthand for the bigger Democratic Party civil war, purity versus pragmatism, boomers versus whatever comes after boomers, and late-night hosts mine it for jokes until the next scandal comes along. But every time someone new discovers the clip, usually some teenager who wasn't even born when Hanoi Jane was a thing, they watch those 6 electric minutes and text their friends, "Yo, you gotta see this old lady's wildin'." And the legend of the day Jane Fonda supposedly got kicked off The View lives forever.